Deep within the heart of the Enchanted Forest, a realm untouched by time, a magnificent tapestry of life thrived. Towering trees stretched toward the heavens, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. Beneath the emerald canopy, a rich undergrowth of vibrant flowers, thick ferns and soft moss cradled the ground, creating a sanctuary for countless creatures. Here animals lived in harmony, each playing its role in the intricate balance of nature. The deer family roamed gracefully, their elegant forms gliding through the glades. The clever foxes darted between the shadows, ever watchful for opportunities. The wise owls perched silently on branches, observing the world from their lofty perches. But beneath the surface of this serene existence, tension simmered. The arrival of a new predator threatened to disrupt the peace. Rumors had spread like wildfire among the animals. A pack of fierce wolves, led by a cunning and ambitious alpha named Kael, had entered the forest. They sought to claim the Enchanted Forest as their own hunting ground, believing that the lush landscape would provide them with the power and dominance they craved. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow across the forest, the deer gathered in a secluded glade. Eldrin, the wise and gentle elder of the deer family, stood at the center, his antlers majestic against the fading light. He looked upon his kin, sensing their unease. "My dear friends," Eldrin began, his voice calm yet filled with urgency, "we face a great threat. The wolves have entered our territory, and their leader Kael seeks to dominate this forest. We must prepare ourselves for the challenges ahead." The deer murmured in agreement, their eyes wide with fear and concern. Among them was a brave young doe named Lyra, who had always admired Eldrin's leadership. "Eldrin, what can we do to protect our home?" she asked, her voice trembling. Eldrin nodded, acknowledging her courage. "We must unite with other creatures in the forest. Together we can stand against the wolves. We must send word to the foxes, the owls, and all who call this forest home." Chapter 2: A Call for Allies. As dawn broke over the Enchanted Forest, Lyra and a small group of deer set out to gather allies. They moved stealthily through the underbrush, their keen senses attuned to the sights and sounds of the forest. Their first stop was a glen where the foxes were known to gather. The foxes were cunning and agile, known for their intelligence and resourcefulness. As Lyra approached the glen, she spotted a group of foxes playfully darting about, their vibrant orange fur glistening in the morning sun. She called out to them, "Friends, we need your help. The wolves are threatening our home, and we must unite to defend the Enchanted Forest." Lyra's voice rang with urgency. A sly fox named Finn, known for his sharp wit, stepped forward. "Wolves, you say? We've heard the rumors. They are dangerous, but why should we risk our safety for the deer?" His tone was playful, but Lyra sensed the underlying seriousness. "Because together we can protect our home," Lyra pleaded. "The wolves are relentless, and they will not stop until they claim the forest as their own. We need your cunning and speed to outsmart them." Finn's expression shifted and he nodded. "You make a compelling case, Lyra. Very well, we will join you. But we will need a plan to outwit the wolves." With the foxes on their side, Lyra and her companions ventured further into the forest to seek the wise owls. They soon found a majestic oak tree where the owls perched, their big round eyes observing the world below. Eldrin had always spoken highly of their wisdom. "Great owls," Lyra called out, her voice echoing through the glade. "We seek your guidance and support. The wolves threaten our home, and we need your insight to help us devise a strategy." An elder owl named Orin descended from his perch, his feathers soft and mottled. "The wolves are formidable opponents, but knowledge is our greatest weapon," he replied, his voice deep and resonant. "We will lend our wisdom to your cause. Together we can outmaneuver them." With the deer, foxes, and owls united, they began to formulate a plan. Each group would contribute its strengths, creating a coalition strong enough to withstand the looming threat. Chapter 3: The Strategy Unfolds. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a warm light over the forest, the coalition gathered in a hidden clearing to discuss their strategy. Eldrin, Finn, and Orin stood at the forefront, their expressions serious. "We need to understand the wolves' movements," Eldrin began. "Finn, your speed and cunning can help us track them. Orin, your knowledge of the forest will guide us in setting traps." Finn grinned. "I can sneak around their territory and report back on their plans. I'll be like a shadow, unseen and unheard." Orin nodded. "And I can use my ability to see from above to keep watch over the forest. I'll signal you when the wolves are near." Lyra felt a surge of hope as they discussed their tactics. "We should create diversionary tactics as well," she suggested. "If we can confuse the wolves, we can protect our territory while minimizing direct confrontation." Eldrin smiled at Lyra's initiative. "A wise idea, young one. We can use the natural layout of the forest to our advantage, leading them into areas where we can outmaneuver them." The group worked tirelessly, devising a series of traps and diversion tactics. They used their knowledge of the forest to create pitfalls covered with leaves and branches, ensuring the wolves would fall into their traps. The owls would keep watch from above, signaling the deer and foxes to prepare for action. Chapter 4. The Pack Approaches. Meanwhile, in the depths of the forest, Kael and his pack of wolves prepared for their assault. Kael was a formidable figure, with a dark coat and piercing eyes that glowed with ambition. He had gathered his pack, a group of fierce and loyal followers who hungered for dominance. "We will take this forest," Kael declared, his voice booming. "The deer are weak and the foxes will scatter like leaves in the wind. We will establish our reign over this land, and none shall stand in our way." The wolves howled in agreement, their spirits lifted by Kael's words. They were eager for the hunt, driven by their instincts and the promise of power. But Kael knew the deer would not go down without a fight. "Tonight we will strike at dusk," Kael ordered. "We will catch them off guard when their defenses are weakest. Our numbers will overwhelm them, and they will learn to fear our might." Chapter 5. The Battle Begins. As dusk settled over the Enchanted Forest, a sense of tension filled the air. The coalition of deer, foxes, and owls awaited the impending battle, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the trees. "Remember our plan," Eldrin whispered, gathering the group. "We fight for our home, and we will protect it with all our strength. Stay vigilant." Finn scouted ahead, darting through the underbrush as he searched for signs of the wolves. As he crept closer to the wolves' territory, he spotted them gathered near a clearing, their eyes gleaming with excitement. He quickly retreated to warn the others. "The wolves are gathering," Finn said breathlessly as he returned to the coalition. "They're ready to attack." Orin took to the sky, soaring high above the forest, his keen eyes scanning the ground for the approaching pack. "They're moving in formation," he called down, his voice steady. "Prepare yourselves." The coalition held their ground, their hearts racing as the howls of the wolves echoed through the trees. The sound sent a shiver down Lyra's spine, but she stood tall, determined to fight for her home. As the wolves surged into the clearing, the coalition sprang into action. Lyra and the deer formed a protective line, while Finn and the foxes darted around the perimeter, ready to create distractions. Orin flew overhead, watching the battle unfold from above. "Now!" Eldrin shouted, his voice strong. The deer charged forward, their hooves pounding against the ground as they faced the incoming wolves. Chapter 6. The Clash of Forces. The battle erupted into chaos as deer and wolves clashed in the heart of the forest. The sound of hooves and growls filled the air, echoing through the trees. Lyra fought alongside her kin, dodging and weaving as she faced the ferocious wolves. Finn darted around the edges of the battle, using his agility to confuse the wolves, leading them away from the deer and into the traps they had set. With every move, he felt the thrill of the hunt, but his heart also ached for the deer fighting bravely beside him. As Kael charged toward Eldrin, the elder deer stood his ground, his antlers gleaming in the fading light. "You will not take this forest," Eldrin proclaimed, a fire igniting within him. Kael snarled, lunging forward with fierce determination. The two leaders clashed, antlers and fangs colliding in a battle of strength and will. The surrounding animals watched in awe as, "Like and subscribe to help me, everyone." "Thanks, everyone."